As America prepares to vote for midterm elections, and we are also subjected to an onslaught of news coverage of all the star campaigners in America, let's take a look at what exactly are the midterm elections. Hello and welcome to India Today Digital. I'm Anjali Istawal, and we're going to try to understand in this video what midterm elections mean and what could this mean for President Joe Biden. Well, firstly, let's try and understand America's legislative setup. So, any law that is made in any country is made by their legislative body. Now, America's legislative process is basically composed of two houses. One is House of Representatives and the other is Senate. Now, the House of Representatives has congressmen in it or congresswomen in it. These are representatives that are chosen for 2-year terms, whereas Senate has senators in it and the representatives there are for 6-year terms. Now, the House of Representatives, of course, if they have a 2-year term, the election comes every 2 years, and 1/3 of the Senate is also chosen after every 2 years because the seats are coming up for election. So this election that is happening this time in November, it's coming in the middle of a presidential term of Joe Biden. So it's called midterm elections. When it overlaps with the presidential elections, then it gets more media scrutiny, more people are looking at the candidates, more people come out and vote. But midterm elections usually are low on voters' radar. But these midterm elections are considered crucial. And why? This is exactly what I'm going to tell you. Well, firstly, there are many issues which are considered favoring Republicans as far as the voters are concerned. The key issues of this election are, firstly, inflation, cost of living, which is increasing almost in every part of our world as there is a war waging in Ukraine and Russia's engaged in that war, and these are key suppliers of food and energy. Third issue is crime. Well, the Republicans are saying that crime is rising, in fact, heinous crime is rising, and Donald Trump has been holding rallies focusing particularly on crimes by immigrants. So that is another issue that's going to matter to people. Another issue that could go into the favor of Democrats is the decision that was overturned by the Supreme Court in June, and that is the right to abortion as a constitutional right. While the Democrats are staunchly in favor of women having a decision or right over their body, Republicans seem to be on the other side of the spectrum. This is a key issue for young voters, women voters, and Democrats are hoping that this issue could help them swing the votes to their side. But the big problem is that these issues are very transitional, they are very topical. Will people remember these issues when they go into the polling booths to vote? So these are the key issues on which America would be voting. Now let's try and understand how it impacts the government. Well, it is believed that this time the Republicans might seize control of the House of Representatives, which is full of the congressmen and the congresswomen. And as far as the Senate is concerned, the 100 seats that will come up for re-election, they could go either way. But it is believed that the Democrats might be able to retain their seats. But the big question is, if the Republicans get control of the House of Representatives, how does it impact the government or the lawmaking? Well, it does. It clearly does. President Joe Biden has an agenda on which he was voted into the White House, and if he's not able to execute that agenda, that is going to be problematic. House of Representatives is the body that puts in motions, it suggests the laws, it's one of the voting bodies on the laws, and in case they try and stall any of the agendas of President Biden, it's going to be highly problematic for Biden. Now, if you look at the popularity ratings of Biden, they're not very good. In fact, it's under 50%, and this is not good news for Biden. But if Republicans do come into the House of Representatives, and if they do manage to capture sizable Senate seats also, then it is bad news for Joe Biden. Now let's look at trends. Usually it is believed that the party which is in power, or the president who is in power, his party tends to lose the midterm votes. If that is so, then Republicans would be in a majority situation here. But if Republicans do take control of the chamber, there are certain issues that would become critical. Firstly, investigative committees. Now, if Republicans have a say in the investigative committees, one of the key investigations that is going on, which is the attack on the Capitol on 6th of January by Trump supporters, that is a key investigation that could be impacted. Although it is believed that that investigation could be winded up by the end of this year. But this is one of the main things that could be impacted by majority takeover of the Republicans. Now, the other thing that could happen is some new investigations could be initiated by the Republicans, like the Chinese business dealings of Joe Biden's son. There could also be an impact on the foreign policy of USA as far as the Ukraine and Russia war is considered. Republicans tend to favor Russia more, and liberals or the Democrats tend to favor Ukraine. So this could impact the foreign policy of the of US as well. There could also be an investigation on the fact that the troops that were withdrawn from Afghanistan, was it a hasty withdrawal? Was it a right decision taken by the president or not? So these are some key issues that could be investigated if the Republicans come in majority. Now let's take a look at how this impacts the 2024 presidential race. Now these elections have seen all the ex-presidents coming out and campaigning for their party's candidates. We've seen Obama, we've seen Clinton, we've seen Trump, and of course Joe Biden, the current president, is also actively campaigning for their party candidates. Now how this could impact is that this is sort of like a battleground where the presidential hopefuls could try and show how much of an impact they have. If the candidates that are backed by Trump manage to win their seats, then that will give more weight to Trump's election, not just the campaign, but basically his claim on this the candidacy of presidential elections from the Republican side. So if that happens, Trump could benefit from that. It is important to see how the Democrats do, because that sort of reflects on Joe Biden also. So this is a sort of like a key barometer for Biden's performance as well. And we are also seeing many senators who are hopeful of becoming presidential candidates also right now currently campaigning for their seats. And we have in fact seen a little bit of friction amongst the Republicans themselves, because they could be going ahead trying for the presidency. Well, these are the main impacts that we will see of the midterm elections on the political scenario as far as USA is concerned. And now let's try and understand what is the situation that Democrats are in. Well, there is a blue wall, and these are basically Michigan, Wisconsin, and Philadelphia voters. If Biden manages to keep the blue wall, this would be good for him. But we've seen earlier that Trump has managed to break through that blue wall earlier. And if this time also the Republicans manage to break through the blue wall, then it'll be bad news for the Democrats. But anyway, midterm elections are the flavor of the month, and we'll be seeing the Americans lining up and voting. All the ex-presidents have also been actively encouraging young voters especially to come out and vote. Even Bernie Sanders, the senator, has been encouraging the young people that this is the time they have to come and exercise their vote. But these midterm elections will be quite important for the president himself. Well, do tell us what you think about this video, and also comment in the comment section, and subscribe to India Today for more news updates.